Hello, we're going to, in this tutorial here, create the basis for our dungeon game, which will be, you'll have the option to do 2D or 3D, so I'm not going to specify here whether it's, I'm going to start it out as a 3D game, but we'll have variations on that theme. So I'm going to start my project. So here I am here in my generic setup. So in the last tutorial we were in Blender, so let's just import our asset from Blender, which is this thing here, 3D menu. So Blender is going to create, or Unity is going to create a FBX file from the Blender file. So that will appear here in a second, and we'll be able to drag and drop this into our viewport straight away. We'll try and set it up in a similar way to how it was set up in Blender, so with a nice depth of field and the camera positioned nicely, etc. So we'll try and have that all set up here, and that'll be sort of the content of this tutorial will be to sort of replicate the shot that we got in Blender. So so we've got a materials folder here, which is all the materials that are associated with this 3D object. So drag that in here. We're not going to worry about it too much for now. We'll just position our camera somewhere more convenient. So if we look at the orientation of our world, I think the camera should be over here and up a little bit, and we'll rotate it this way and move it. I'm in the wrong position. Probably in the wrong position. So where is there's the sign there. So yeah, we want the camera somewhere around there, maybe a little bit higher. And we'll just change our our point of view. Somewhere in the middle, and I'll stop that there and rotate up a little bit, something like that as a starting point anyway, and we might move back a fraction. Okay, so that's sort of our starting point. Now we want to put all our textures on here. So first of all, I'm just going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it textures. And I might just drop that in here to my materials folder, and in here I'm going to import assets, which will be my images. So hopefully I'll see I should be previewing these here. Load disk space. Okay. Let's just cancel that and empty my recycle bin. And that should get me going for now, and I'll fix that later. So import new asset. There we go. And I want my leaf. I want to import the terrain that we've drawn on. And we have our stones and our wood are the other two we want. So import new asset. There's the wooden texture, and I think stone was the other one. So that one. So I could fix these over here, but I'll just set up the, so this is the ground, so that should be the terrain. So I'm going to drag that in there, and then I don't want it to be reflective or metallic, so we'll set it up like that. The leaf, again, I can drag and drop that in there. And what I want is, I don't want it to be opaque, I want it to be a cutout. There's my leaf there. Again, I'll try and get rid of some of the shine off it. That's not bad there. Okay. This material, actually, we didn't name. This is the bark of the tree, so we're just going to change the color of that. We'll make that sort of a dark brown. You can see it there in the viewport. And what have we left to do? The plank, again, so this is the wood. We'll put that in here, and again, we don't want it to be too metallic. That's okay there. And last but not least, stone, and again, we'll just set up our properties for that. That's roughly everything's in. Now, by default, if I look at the camera here, we've got a skybox. So we could go and change that skybox. We could go to the Unity store and download things. But I'm just going to take my lamp here and see if I can get something approximating what we had by changing the... There we go. So that's not too bad. So all I've done there is I've just rotated the direction of light, and because I've got a skybox, the skybox has responded to that. And we'll add some more lights in a second. So that's sort of a basic setup there. Now, the next thing I want to do is actually, we'll set up our lights actually next. We'll go in, we'll add another light, we'll add a point light, and we'll take that point light and we'll bring it in here like before. And where are we? One more time around. So yeah, about there. Alright. And we can make this more sort of orange, and then increase its intensity a little bit. And then we'll call this pit light. And then we'll duplicate that and move it up and towards the tree, and we'll call this tree light. And that one will make far more blue. Okay. Cool. Now, to get a depth of field in Unity, we have to add effects, and they're built in, but I haven't loaded them into the project yet, so I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to go import new package, effects, and it's it'll open up a dialog window here saying what we want, and if we scroll down here, we can see all sorts of, it says depth of field, mobile bloom, so all sorts of interesting things that we have that we can use. Just to be aware, though, that some of these effects work on mobile and some of them do not. I was going to import them all for now, and we'll just use depth of field. Depth of field requires DirectX 11, so if you're working on a machine that doesn't have DirectX 11, so an older graphics card that doesn't support DirectX 11, you may find that this effect doesn't work for you. So I'm going to put this on the camera. So let's wait for it all to import. Like I said, I could have just selected the one I wanted there. So I select the camera, I'm going to add component, image effects, and there's a whole bunch of them here, but I'm looking for the camera one and depth of field. So this is the one here I'm looking for, so depth of field. And it says, asks me for a target. Now, I'm going to put my text as my target because I want that to be in focus. You can already see the effect that's taking place here, so I'm going to put my text in here. And now you can see that this is in focus. I can set the, how the focal size, which is suppose the area of the area that will be in focus, so how narrow it is, front and back of this text, and then I can the aperture setting here will give me, how much blur I'm going to get, and then we have just sort of how we're going to actually get it to work. So if I maximize that on screen, I press play. So that's not massively dissimilar to what we had in Blender. The framing is slightly different and the lighting is slightly different. It's maybe not as aesthetically pleasing, but this is in runtime. So this is a live game right now. This is not just a still image that we've spent 80 seconds rendering a single frame. So this is in real time. And obviously we can tweak this and reduce the amount of light, etc. That's from our directional light, and get all sorts of interesting looks. So well, let's leave it at that. So that's basically, we're trying to not exactly copy, but sort of get the same sort of feeling in here in this menu system as we had in Blender. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now.